choices because I literally maintain all of my finances online, and it has helped me making best out of the all alternatives when it comes to any kind of job.
How to make global citizens use internet to its full potential? We deliver internet in their mother tongue. Breaking the language barrier is what is required. The answer is universal acceptance.
एक बार राजीव संगल आ गए ना। ठीक है पर अब उसको लाओ ना तभी तो सेशन शुरू कर। Can you request somebody who is the attendees who are standing outside, standing here, kindly take your seats. Some of you can take seat in row number 2 and row number 3 also. सेट हो गया तो पर ये आएगा नहीं इसमें। पर ये हो जाएगा ना, ये भी नहीं आएगा इधर। इसको एक प्रभु करना सुन। चलो ठीक है। नहीं होगा।
सर आप म्यूट कर लीजिए प्लीज।
हाँ हाँ, इतने सारे कनेक्शन एक साथ खुल रहे हैं। हाँ, 1 minute.
Okay, good evening to all of you. I hope you had enjoyed your lunch. Now I am calling the panelists on the dais. We have Mr. Rajiv Sangal, Professor Emeritus of Triple IT Hyderabad. He is available with us. He has joined us online. May I request Mr. Amitabh Nag, Chief Executive Officer of Bhasini, to join us, and let us welcome him with a clap. May I request Alok Shukla, DDG from UIDAI, please come on the dais, and let us welcome him with the claps, please. And let me welcome the Director FICCI, Sarika Guliani. And finally, South Asia ICANN Head, Nitin Wali, Senior Director, please. May I request Rajiv Sangarji to kindly switch on your video.
Yes, my video is on. I hope you can see me.
May I request yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Let me introduce Professor Rajiv Sangal. First of all, we are thankful to you, Professor, for joining us at the last moment and gracing the occasion and joining us on a very, very important topic, that is Bhashini and multilingual internet. And you, I know, sir, you are guiding Government of India on Bhashini also. Uh, Professor Rajiv Sangal is a well-known person. He has worked on computational grammar, that is CPG framework, particularly applied to Indian language. Uh, Sir knows the knowledge representation, information extraction search engine, and he has authored 4 books and number of research paper in NLP and artificial intelligence. He is playing a major role in the research university, namely Triple IT as on date. Uh, it has research centers only and focus on the research. Sir has helped to make the human value course a regular part of the academic curriculum at the present academia. Uh, As a president of the NLP Association of India, he helped the NLP community in India, where high quality annual conferences are running since 2002. Sir is also member of the editorial board of Computational Linguistics, Journal of ACL from 2004 to 2006. And he is referring on Calling, IJNCLP, LREC, ICON and other conferences. He was the journal chair of ICON series from 2002 to 2009. He was a member of Scientific Council of Indo-French Center for Promotion of Advanced Research and from 1991 to 94, and long list of his achievements throughout his life. So let us welcome a very eminent personality on the Bhashini and multilingual panel. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Now, let me introduce Amitabh Nag. Amitabh is working as a Chief Executive Officer of a very important project called Bhashini, which is related to multilingual internet transaction. A thought leader and executioner of having more than 30 years of experience in business management, sales and marketing and project execution in the field of information technology. He has worked in various industries like manufacturing, retail, BFSI in different roles, especially in customer relationship manager, business development in government sector and business unit manager. He has a track record of overseeing large projects, and Bhashini is a very, very large project. Uh, In-depth experience in interacting with the government bodies like CII, NESCOM and FICCI, and I am very hopeful that sir now will have a very rememberable experience with ICANN. Uh, Passionate about understanding and adapting to new technology and change management, recruited and developed high-performing team, and also helped to achieve various revenue targets wherever it is there. We welcome Mr. Amitabh for this August gathering, and I think there will be a mutual learning on both the sides. Welcome, sir. Now let me introduce my friend Alok. Alok and me worked together for several years in telecom, especially in BSNL. Presently, Alok is working as Deputy Director General with Aadhaar, which is popularly known as Aadhaar, but the organization is called Unique Identification Authority of India. And he is involved in the 12-digit Aadhaar project in India for the last 12 years. So virtually we can correlate Alok with Aadhaar effectively. He was involved in various planning network planning specifically, I remember that he was working in NTR and execution of various projects. A very, very important project because UID Aadhaar is working on delivering multilingual aspect and integrating with Aadhaar. So let us welcome Alok. Let us welcome Alok to this gathering. Sarika is the most smiling face on ICANN community, and she is for universal acceptance. She is the India lead. In fact, the initiative which UASG has created in various countries, she is leading India. Sarika is at present working as a director at FICCI and leads in various verticals like ICT, mobile manufacturing, artificial intelligence, digital transformation, and most important, which is relevant to us, is the FICCI Indian Language Technology Alliance, which somebody was telling alliance yesterday. Uh, she is passionate about delivering the multilingual internet, and I am interacting with her for the last almost 3 years, and she don't let me sleep in case I don't talk on language. She has attended and in fact launches various international intellectual conferences, and she is the person who is actually sending awareness programs on various programs like Cybercom, Indian Telecom Series, Digital Bharat, I Bharat. She represents FICCI at various national and international areas also. And basically, core, she is a electronic and IT engineer, and she has also got a MBA degree with her. So let us welcome Sarika on this August gathering. Now my job is over. I hand over to Chair Professor Rajiv Sangal to take over from this side. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to everybody to this session. I feel I'm sorry that I'm not being able to be with you, although I'm missing, joining in present in physically, but we'll do the best we can. So let us jump straight into the subject about the multilingual internet, and in particular, Indian, government has a very important program called Bhasini. It was, it's one of its goals is National Language Translation Mission. But along with translation, I think it will also lead to many, many applications of all kinds in speech, in text, in generating speech, as well as understanding or analyzing speech. So all that work is going on. Of course, have the panel has already been introduced, and as you would see, we have a very experienced panel, and the panel comes with its very diverse and varied backgrounds, both from technology as well as dealing with spread of technology, passion about how this technology can reach people at a billion scale, and how users can become aware and can then get to use and start become a community of technology users. So without taking any more time, I'll request Mr. Amitabh Nag, who is the CEO of Bhashini, this very important Government of India program run by MIT. So I'll request you to make your presentation. While as we are running a slightly behind time, I'll request you to each of the panelists to take 8 minutes instead of 10 minutes. So then we'll have some time for question answer also. Thank you.
So, as the slides come up, Bhashini is a program which transitions the language barrier. It not only, bridges the language barrier, it goes beyond that, and that's how the program has been designed. And Bhashini is implemented by Digital India Bhashini Division, which I represent, which has been given the charge to, execute this particular project and ensure that, the language translation using technology uh, achieves its natural objectives for the country. Now, let me take you through the next slide, please. So what are we set out to do? If you actually look at it, our, objectives are multifold, and that's something which is there as an introduction so that, everyone is aware of how and what to do about anything which you find as a language resource or anything which you want us to do. In the morning sessions, there has been many requests which had come in for what government should be doing as far as language is concerned. There was, input side activity. There was a low resource language request, which was there. Can we use them? So there is a, the objectives are multifold. So one of the most important activity is to develop a long-term strategy for Indian languages, solutions, and ecosystem for this technology. So that's one of the objectives which Bhashini is Digital in India Bhashini Division or Bhashini project is supposed to do. It is also looking at Indian language, technology solutions, and easier access to internet. Obviously, it is supposed to make the language, let the language barrier go off from the, normal conversation or discussions which are happening currently, right? It is also looking at growth of Indian language and technology over internet and harness economy of scales in Indian language technologies. Obviously, the base is, artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence models. So it is using digital tool to actually translate source language to target language in speech to speech, text to text, the various forms which can be there as far as translation is concerned. It is also supposed to promote the research on Indian language technologies, to provide, build up indigenous intellectual properties, and wherever possible, lead to transfer of technology. So it has got, again, a multifold objectives in these three areas. And ultimately, it leads to collaboration among national and international institutes, catalyzing research, the collaboration among research institutes, as well as to adopt and implement the policy on data, which is an important activity. So it's like we have created opportunities for people and organization to do Bhasha Dan, which again was talked about in the morning, where we can pick up the data, and the more data you contribute, the better would be the models which would be there for us. So that's the objectives part of it from Bhashini. And Bhashini is all about ecosystem. We would basically be, as I said, we would have Bhashadan, which will create data sets. The R&D institutes and the other institutes will create AI models, which will be used by startup industries, government, etc., to provide product and services to the citizen. Again, the idea is that we provide uh, products and services to the citizens which are in various areas. It could be government services, it could be payment services, it could be anything, right? So that's the idea of the Bhashini as an ecosystem is concerned. So, it is what I should say, it is a collaborative effort. The idea is to make it a collaborative effort among various stakeholders to work through and build up the opportunity. This is how the framework of Bhashini works, and I'll take some time to explain you this. Uh, on the, obviously, the government through its Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is providing the vision and direction, funds and synergies, etc. While the rest of the parts actually include Bhashini and its ecosystem. So on the left-hand side, when you look at it, we are talking about Bhashini Sanchalak. Sanchalak would basically have the offering and the operations. Offering would mean that it has got a repository, it has got data set and data sets for benchmark and training, it has got open APIs, tools for benchmarking and data curation. So that's the offering part of it. This is run as a unit in Bhasini. There are some progress which has already been made, and I would come to that once in the next few slides. So there can be multiple such offering producing agencies which we are targeting, because we feel that there will be large aggregation of data sets which will be required. The operations part would look at how the Bhashini intends to have a cloud which can be used by the stakeholders. It can be used by the startups so that the models can be used and they can build their product around as a POCs before they launch into the market. The data repository will be with the production setup which is there, and it will deploy the models which are there. Also, as a part of being part of the open source community, we would be sharing many of these models to the open source community as well for the usage and for picking it up. Otherwise, also Bhashini APIs will be open for usage as open source there, right? Right now, we haven't have a business model here, but these business models, if it would come in over a period of time. But currently, it is available for usage as www.bhashini.gov.in as an API. We would have SLA management and leaderboards and catalogs, which our engineering team and R&D team would manage. So that's a setup which we are at the core. We are managing as Bhashini Sanchalak, and this is what Bhashini team would directly own and supervise. We then have, then we are talking about the right-hand side, which has 4 blocks, which is Bhashini Pravakta. Pravakta is going to get into the outreach. In the morning, Edmund told us that, we are living in the world where there are latent needs. Consumer does not know that they need it. But when you are offered this as a service, then the people would actually grab it with both hands, right? So that is the situation which we live in, because people today do not know such an option is available, and hence they don't use it. So it is important for all of us to actually run programs where we actually make people aware. One such session is this session, but there would be multiple such sessions, outreach programs, which will actually make people aware that this kind of technology exists and they should be using it. So that's a Bhashini Pravakta program, which will be awareness and outreach program. Any of the stakeholders who would like to join us are most welcome to join us in this particular program, because it will only help, because when people start talking to each other, cross territory, cross language, economies bloom, tourism increases. There are a lot of things which happen actually in this particular area. The second program is the people who help build Bhashini as a program. So we call them Bhashini Mitra. So there are data Mitra, who are people who have large data sets who can collaborate with us to give the data. Of course, there are we will be using the data with the restrictions which they impose, but the idea is to create more and more data sets. Bhashini App Mitra, people who will build the application. One such application is, you can look at it on the Play Store. It has the application Bhashini actually does speech-to-speech translation. I would have perhaps tried to show you a demo, but because of certain reasons, I'm not showing it. But there is an app which is available which does speech-to-speech translation in currently 12 languages. There is one web service app which is available on Bhashini's slide, which does text-to-text translation. That also can be used on a trial basis right now. We will be planning to launch it very soon. The Anusandhan Mitra are the research partners with us. We have 60 research organization aggregated into consortiums, and we have 11 projects running there to ensure that we have the data models and adequate research done on this particular area. The Gyan Mitra is again knowledge partners who can enroll with us and provide us and help us with knowledge about this technology, about how to reach out to the market, about how we can develop applications, or which applications can use it how, and what are the different use cases. That is a program which we are having. Then there is a co-creation program which we are calling it Bhashini Sayogi, where we are actually co-creating initiatives with state governments both from the from the point of view of data done, as well as from a point of view of using the APIs to provide services. Then we have the industry, big tech, as well as the other industries who are trying to collaborate with us in all the areas, which is basically co-creation or data done or using the APIs to provide the applications, startups and NGOs. The Bhasini Udyat program is actually a API consumption program where we are approaching various digital public goods, and there are, prototypes and proof of concepts which are happening where every application will have its unique context by which the language needs to be understood. So, it is not going to be the same everywhere, and context is very important when you are actually integrating the APIs to application, and that's where we are focusing upon working with the customers in terms of the digital public goods, state government, central government missions, publishers, as well as to general citizens to see that the APIs are being used and the applications are being used for this purpose. We, of course, have a program which actually will define the vision. We are monitoring the KPIs of this program is will be monitored through the API management and dashboards that is called Bhashini Vyavastha, and the Bhashini Sahayak program runs the support function for the organization. So this is a broad framework of Bhashini program as it would run. Most of it is actually ecosystem enabled. It's like aggregation of multiple people, multiple units who will actually contribute and build this program. Bhashini will act as a vision setter, director, as well as working with them to ensure that we have this particular platform which can be used by anyone and everyone to provide services to the country. Right? This is where we are. As I said, on the left-hand side, we have 60 institutions running 11 research programs in consortiums. We have about 15 plus startup engaged, who are doing different activities, data collections, etc., etc. We have 390 plus models which we have created, and these are the areas in which the model is created. The models are exposed through our websites. We use 340 plus benchmark data sets. There has been various organizations and partners who have given us the data through which we have created parallel data sets in multiple areas. Two of the apps, Bhashini Speech to Speech, mobile app for Android and iOS, and Anuvad Web Services. These two are currently under testing. If you want to test and give feedback, then these are available on the Play Store, and this Anuvad Web Service is available on the website, right? That's how it is being working, and we would love to receive the feedback from you.
So we are just
There
running out
is,
of time. Yeah.
we are doing the API integration into other applications, which are central government applications. CP Grams, which is the grievance redressal application, is currently under testing with 50 plus sites. And this has been broadly integrated. We hope to go live on this. And UPI, we are working hard to actually ensure that we are in a position to make UPI speech enabled. 10 rupees pay karo is the idea, and you get an answer through voice. Is the situation which we want to get into. We are, not far away, but yeah, their financial market has a different context setting than what the normal translation mechanism is. So we would be in the market, and we would perhaps be in a position to launch this very soon.
So we are now running out of time, Mr. Amitabh Nag.
Okay, just last slide.
Yeah.
This is what our roadmap is, and we are working on. As I said, you saw Bhashini app, Anuvad web application, CP Grams, UPI. UPI will go to all the NPCI offering. After that, we are looking at government services chatbot, document translation, video translation, website translation. eSanjeevani is a platform which you have been talking about and heard many times in PM speech. Also, this is something which we are working upon to change. And Umang is already using our APIs to provide direct benefit transfer. So many of the things which have been done, good work which has been done today now gets aggregated. We will have an outreach to the market, and we also want all of you to join us and, put your whatever effort you can in whatever program to make this program successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation on Bhashini and its large sweep which is there. And I know that the beta version got launched for speech-to-speech translation just 4 days ago, and there are a number of stakeholders now trying this service, and I hope that this will become available to Indian, general Indian people, everybody, very soon in the coming months. So we move to the next speaker, Mr. Alok Shukla, Deputy Director General of the Aadhaar UI ADI. Yeah. So yes, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow panelists. Next slide, please. Just briefly, I am going to tell about UIDI website and how Bhashini can help us in providing different services to the entire country, because we deal almost with every resident of the country. Our website recently got revamped in August 2022. It's regularly updated based on business division's requirement, and it is integrated with Bhuvan API, which is a geospatial services offered by ISRO to provide location of the enrollment center throughout the country. And there are KPIs for continuous monitoring of monitoring and improvement of the website. Telemetry system is implemented to monitor page load time, current usage exception and errors, etc. Next, please. On our website, online feedback is available. Aadhaar related services are explained in a very simple language. And menu has been redesigned with a maximum menu depth of 2. UID website is multilingual for static content. The website is available in 13 languages. Besides English and Hindi, there are 11 regional languages in which it is available. And in the landing page, in a very user-friendly way, the language option is given. Though it's look odd, but because we deal with every type of resident, be it literate, semi-literate, illiterate. So it is this option intentionally we have created in the language page so that we can resident can easily go to the request language page. Next slide, please. And we have engaged MicroSafe Consulting through BMGF and Treemouse through Omidyar to give feedback on our website. They collect a feedback from resident, and they tell us based on their recommendation, we keep on upgrading our website. And there is a My Aadhaar portal through which a resident can get so many resident services like book appointment, locate Aadhaar enrollment center, order PVC card, check Aadhaar status, generate VID, lock, unlock Aadhaar, etc. There are 321 FAQs. These are the common features of the website. Our website is JIGW compliant. We have complied all aspects, and we have given to STQC for certification. It is certification will come at any time. And you'll see the hits on our website. Almost 10 crore hits per day on our website, and on our My Aadhaar portal about 3.8 crore hits. So hits wise, our website maybe among the government website must be the highest event. All these type of policy letters, regulation, course processes of enrollment and update, and these are all available on our website. And these are the some data points which are also available on the portal. Like as on 27th, 136.6 crore Aadhaar has been assigned. Updates are say 74.8 crores. Authentication done so far are 8,996 crore, and eKYC services 1,459 crore. These are available, and these are updated on continuous basis. And on social media platform, on various platforms, we are present. And how this Bhasini services, Bhasini platform can help us. This is a typical example. You get your Aadhaar issued 10 years back and never got it updated. It was got translated in Gujarati. And before coming to for this panel discussion, I was impressed with the quality of the translation, because one small sentence, which is part of our one regulation, always write the purpose of sharing a photocopy of Aadhaar with an entity. Entities seeking your Aadhaar are obliged to obtain your consent, which should specify the purpose for which it is being taken. The translation in Hindi is very apt. हमेशा किसी भी संस्था के साथ आधार की फोटोकॉपी साझा करने का उद्देश्य लिखें। आपके आधार की मांग करने वाली संस्थाएं आपकी सहमति प्राप्त करने के लिए बाध्य हैं, जो उस उद्देश्य को निर्दिष्ट करना चाहिए जिसके लिए इसे लिया जा रहा है। तो इस तरह की हिंदी, इस तरह का ट्रांसलेशन, आई थिंक आई विल कम्प्लीमेंट भाषिनी. And definitely Bhasini is going to help us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shukla. It's heartening to note that the technologies today, language technology, is in use, and the latest, I mean, translation, etc., are all getting there. I remember when Bhashini was being formulated, that time the Prime Minister, this was presented before the Council, the Prime Minister's Council for Science, Technology and Innovation. And it was very clear, the instructions are very clear, that make it in such a way that ordinary people can use it. And speech was made an integral part of Bhashini. So not only text-to-text translation, but speech-to-speech translation. And I'm happy that many of these things are, getting into large-scale usage. May I request now Ms. Sarika Guliani, well-known name in is spreading technology and awareness about this technology in the commercial field and getting companies to know that and so on. Yeah, Ms. Guliani, please.
Thank you, Rajiv ji. A very good afternoon to all of you and to my esteemed panel members. I know it's a difficult session after the lunch, but please try to stay awake with us so that we justify the content which we carry for you to come here. So thank you all for joining us for this session. And thank you, NLG, for the very modest and the generous introduction. That was really helpful. Thank you. Thank you for the same. So with respect to, before I start my presentation, Amitabh ji, I was mentioning that before, and like Alok ji did that, before entering this session, we also tried Bhashini chatbot, and in fact, one of the Kisan Vikas Yojana. So we did, so what I was trying to say is that how much Hindi speaking person who's speaking in voice, in Hindi, can get the output in voice and how much is it there. So probably and it was with Abhishek sir only we did that. So we in fact asked a question on the same. It was immediately taken it up. It was translated into Hindi text, and after that it was conveyed to me in my Hindi language. So obviously it's very, very, very helpful. So big compliments to the government of India, our Honorable Prime Minister, for launching Bhashini in the Digital India Week in 2022. And it's really, really big step, and it is having a great transformative power for the digital Indic internet landscape of our country. Now coming to my presentation, since I come from a Chambers of Commerce and my introduction has already been given, so I'll just take you quickly through the changing paradigm of the digital economy of our country through Indic internet. Next slide, please. Next slide. So we've seen that how India has been growing, how India has been known as the IT powerhouse. This one. So we have been seeing that how India has been already known as a IT powerhouse and how we have been growing. But now is the time when we talk about the digital powerhouse. We want to be actually scaling up further higher on the digital thing in the global level. And when we want to do that, and we want a digital empowerment of people to happen, so that sabka saath, sabka vikas ho, we get everybody on board with us. So definitely the power of the Indic internet is a great thing which is affecting our digital economy. I'll just take you, because it is a positive time, so I'll not repeat the numbers which is written here. I'll just take you to the next slide, and it shows couple of key figures which we have been talking about. We all know that we are a population of 1.4 billion, and when in that we have almost 1.2 billion telecom subscribers, which is of course 1.3 billion Aadhaar holders, and I would say almost 98% people have Aadhaar, right? Almost 98% we claim it that people. Among adults, it's 100%. So, yeah, overall, okay, 95%. So that's the number we are talking about. And of course, we see the internet subscribers as of now stands around 833. That's a rough figure, around 850 million we have touched. And we see there's a scope which is coming up with the new areas, like the e-commerce is growing at a very high rate. We have very active social media user base, almost around 450 million active daily social media users are there in our country. Very highest number of downloads on the app, almost 6.8 billion UPI transactions. But so that's a number we are talking about. That's the geography we are talking about. That's a strength which comes in because all of you are there. And that is what India is supposed to actually utilize it to make itself a leader. And definitely the Indic internet, जिसमें आपकी जिस भाषा में आपको जो बात समझ आए, जिससे आप उससे वार्तालाप कर सके, आगे ले जा सके, is very, very, very important. So these stats actually demonstrate the power of our digital economy. When we talk about the Indic landscape, so you would have been hearing this figure since morning. We have already had a discussions that India is a very diverse, linguistically diverse country. We have 22 official languages. We have 1600 plus dialects. And to put it further, if we go beyond official, we can see that almost 30 plus languages, we have more than 10 million users. So that's a diversity we are talking about. We can't even explain it in words, because when you come to India, there are various things which come in with this diverse geography which we carry in terms of the languages. We also have languages where one language can have multiple script, and one script can have multiple languages. For example, the Devanagari is responsible for Marathi, Nepali, Hindi. Similarly, so it goes on like that. So it's something which gives us a uniqueness within the whole world, and that gives us an added advantage to use that uniqueness with the, I would say, the power which we have through all of us, with the stats, with the things which is happening over at the government policies which are coming up, the initiatives like Bhasini which is happening, to utilize it, to actually use it for our benefit. और इसमें जो हम बात कर रहे हैं वो एक्चुअली आप और मेरे लिए, इन हम सब के लिए नहीं है. हम सबको तो ये मैसेज आगे लेकर जाना है. इट इज़ फॉर द पीपल हु आर सिटिंग आउटसाइड दिस room, who cannot understand maybe English or even any other language in which the communication is happening, but are more close to their native language, one of the 22 official languages we are talking about it. So you can see that the numbers which can actually justify the growth of the Indic internet landscape. Almost 93% of the social media users in rural India prefer using Indic languages, and almost 68% in urban as well. So that's the number we are talking about. It is also, of course, I mentioned about the e-commerce. So obviously, if a person is given a choice, as it said, when you speak in English or in language which is not close, which is not your native language, you speak. But when you speak in the language of a person, you reach to the heart. So when you obviously, आप लोगों की चाहे वो latent need हो या जैसे अभी अगर आप उनसे उनकी भाषा में बात करोगे, उनकी भाषा में services दोगे, definitely is going to multiply the effect multiple times. I'll not say even 1, 10 or 20. It's going to be humongous. So we, of course, see that the Indic internet is increasing. I'll just go to the next slide to take you with the benefits. So how do we see that? Of course, it helps the last mile people, last mile, I mean to say the people who are outside this room and who are sitting at the corner, whom our Honorable Prime Minister wants them to become a part of a digital revolution, to participate. So obviously, the Indic internet is the answer for the same. The multilingual, I would say, the internet, the session which talks about it. We are, of course, we have talked about the digital economy. So the services which the government is offering, or any of you are offering, or the people whom you are wanting to get as part of your clientele, of course, the multilingual internet lies the answer. These are the key pointers which says that how does the Indic internet affect our whole ecosystem, be it access to information, language accessibility, employment opportunities, digital inclusion, education, skilling, and digital healthcare. One pointers each. I'll not read the whole thing, but like I said, access to information is very, very critical for anybody. We would want the information to reach it to each and every corner of our country in their own language, so that they can participate, they can utilize, be the information related to healthcare, education, government services, or any of the services which may matter to them most. The language accessibility, of course, it provides the digital services and information in the local languages that are more accessible to the people in rural India. Employment opportunity, this is one of the big things which is happening. Since Indic internet is picking up and the need is there from our country, we are seeing a new age entrepreneurs which are coming up in the employment in this particular area. Many of you also may be having your businesses in the multilingual internet, I mean to say that area, and you would have to further maybe expand it to see how many more languages you can take it into it. We have various government agencies, we have various partners who are working on this. I'll come on that in the next slide. Digital inclusion, I'll not be repetitive. Education, definitely, that's something a need. Our national education new policy also talks about it. It's very important for us to have one of the, I would say, the mother tongue or one of the languages of the state to be part of our elementary and the primary education. Also, the we should have the higher education in the language of the choice. So our national new education policy looks into it, and we are very happy and thankful to the government to taking those steps. In fact, various judicial announcements have also happened where you would have the verdicts available in the language of your state and the choice. So that is also there. Digital healthcare, I don't have to speak anything. We all have just overcome the COVID thing. We have realized how even the government app of Arogya Setu, the one how it helped you out when it was available in your own languages, whether it's related to contract tracing or self-monitoring, anything. So the digital healthcare, the Indic internet has a very, 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 very impact on the digital healthcare. So you can see that the impact of the multilingual internet is very high when you talk about the socio-economic things which is required for our country. Current challenges, when I talk about it, I think that's what Amitabh ji has already mentioned. There's a language fragmentation. So of course, then we talk about the different languages and the different dialects, and then of course the scripts thing which I mentioned about it, like a Kashmiri or something which having a multiple scripts to a single language. So it's not that easy. So the language fragmentation, the challenges which include they are there. How we need to overcome is, of course, encourage standardization. We need to have enable language localization. There are companies, there are people who are working in that domain. The government is supporting for that. And of course, the public-private partnership. The technical challenges, we've been hearing it. The basic need has been to develop our language resources, and that has to be more on the open source thing. The corpora, annotated text corpora or lexical resources, so that you have a right language modeling thing. So that's very important, having the collaboration. So one of the things which are Indic internet, or I'll say the language technology industry in India faces is the people who are working and has been working for decades. I will say not now, because it's something not now just started. It's the thing is, we are realizing the need is very high, so that the discussions have started. So people are working, but they're working in silos. So what is more important is to get them on board at one place, so that we don't have the duplication of the efforts, and also we can utilize from and learn from each other experiences and make it in a more impactful manner, whether it's any, I would say, any application or any service which needs to be given. An example of being a service being delivered in Maharashtra can be replicated in, say, any other state, maybe in Tamil Nadu or anywhere. So similarly, the vice versa. So that things should be there and should be promoted. Fikiala is working on that. I'll come on that next.
So Sarika ji, we are now running short on time.
Well, I'll just finish up in 2 minutes. Yeah.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay. Content creation, of course, we have already mentioned about the applications and the services where the localization and the content creation is very important. Use of the new technologies, which Amitabh ji has already talked about it, AI and NLP, so I'm not be repetitive on that part. This is something we all know about it, our literacy rate, and it's very important that we need to increase that. For this, the Indic Internet, the language is very going to play an important role through various things. The last point that we need to really engage the communities. When I say communities, any of the stakeholders which are working in this area, so that we can get them using the Indic Internet to spread the awareness about the education and the sources. Picky Island local chapter, I'll be quick on that. So when we realized this, and since when my introduction was given, I was heading the technology vertical, and we realized the technology now without Indic Internet doesn't make sense. So 2017, Indian Language Internet Alliance was launched, so that we give a platform to the people to come together, to talk about it, to discuss about it. And when I say it's a multi-stakeholder platform, includes government, industry, technical, academia, everybody. So you can read through, and I'm sure the presentations would also be available on the website later on. So we have been working on various initiatives. We have done various consultation, research papers, programs. We have established something called Bhashantra, which is the only, I would say, the language symposium of the country, where who's and who from the multi-stakeholder community, both the government, industry, technical, academia comes over and have a deliberations. Uh, so this is important, since the local initiative on universal acceptance was launched in 2020. We understand that multilingual internet without universal acceptance, which you have been hearing, and we are celebrating the spirit of a global UA Day today. So it cannot be complete. We have a universal acceptance. And that's why the concept of the universal acceptance and the local initiative came in. We are the secretariat. And when I say we are the secretariat, we are no ones. You are the ones who are driving it. It's a community-based model. We request the community to come over. We do initiatives where we do the hand-holding to become your website UA compliant. We give you, impart the knowledge, technical knowledge, so that you know how to do it.
Thank
We
you.
do, of
Yeah.
course, awareness sessions and
Yeah.
various
Yeah.
sessions.
We have run out of time now totally.
So
But
this is
yeah.
the focus areas. So
Yeah.
basically strengthening the UA implementation roadmap in India. Glimpse. Please join the community. This is the link, which is free of cost, and please contribute and learn and participate. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Sarika ji, for presenting a very large canvas, which is of applications, of users that you have presented. And clearly, there is a need to develop the ecosystem, which is what Amitabh Nagji presented and mentioned. So even though Bhashini is a government program, the whole idea is to develop an ecosystem in which startups are energized, the academic institutions develop technology, transfer it to the startups, and also bring in users, bring in state governments, bring in other stakeholders. So this is building this ecosystem where Bhashini runs on inside. So as they say, Bhashini inside, but applications are yours. You are the users, and the multilingual internet then becomes a reality for everybody. So thank you. We go to the final speaker now, Mr. Wali, director at the ICANN, the International Corporation for Names and Internet Names and Numbers. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajuji. So I think Sarika said that she didn't want any of you to sleep. So I think she made sure nobody was sleeping. So she went through all her deck in spite of whatever Rajuji was saying. So I think that's a good sign. And I can see all of you smiling. So that again is a very, very good sign. And since I'm the last speaker, it certainly helps. Hopefully I won't take too much of your time, but just wanted to let you know, I think the panel itself, whatever I've heard till now, has been amazing. So I think we can have a round of applause for all the panelists right now. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let me just start. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, thank you for joining us on this very special day, which is the inaugural Universal Acceptance Day, which is actually being celebrated across 40 countries and 50 locations globally, right? I think this is truly a red letter day for the multilingual internet, a day that spells hope, excitement, purpose, and opportunity for the billions who have been digitally excluded till now. I'm honored to be here today on this panel and share my thoughts on the multilingual internet, which in a very layman's term is essentially, having the internet in your own language. So the whole complete experience has to be in your own regional language. And while the internet has actually made this world truly a global village, it has also essentially created a sort of a language divide or a barrier, if you may, right? So people who can speak, read, or write English can certainly benefit from it, but those who probably cannot read, write English still have challenges about accessing the internet in the first place, right? And I think this is especially true for India, right? And again, all of us are Indians, or at least majority of us are Indians in this room. We know the cultural and linguistic diversity in our country, right? None of us obviously are native English speakers. Of course, all of us in this room are privileged that we can speak, understand, and read and write English. But like Sarika also mentioned, folks outside this room pretty much can't really even speak any other language, maybe beyond just the regional language or where they're staying if they've learned some other language, right? And just coming back to just basics in terms of data points, I'm sure all of us obviously know all of this, but yeah, although we do have 22 scheduled languages and thousands of dialects, right, in our country, we do have, a new Bharat every 50 to 100 kilometers. And it's interesting because, this point was made by several speakers throughout the panel discussions today. Of course, the kilometers varied because none of us really know where those boundaries exist. But it was essentially the whole point about our cultural diversity, right? Now, the problem of language barriers, right, on the internet is essentially not limited only to India. We may have 22 languages, which are the scheduled languages. We have, I think, 96 non-scheduled languages, and of course, like I said, thousands of dialects. But globally, there are more than 7,000 languages which are spoken. But the internet itself is dominated just by a handful of languages, right? English comes third in terms of native speakers around the world, after Mandarin and Spanish. Closely following English, though, in terms of native speakers is Hindi. Of course, that's not really a surprise. But the interesting piece is that English represents 57% of the total written content online. And while more and more of regional content is coming, we still need to work as a community to make sure that it is more equitable. What is also more important in terms of the vernacular digital approach that we are really talking about is that all components, like I mentioned earlier, essentially have to be in the local language. It doesn't make sense if if you have regional content, but I still need to type in nitinwali.com to go and see something about Nitin, right? That doesn't make sense. So everything about the multilingual internet experience has to be multilingual in the true sense of the word. So the website, the landing page, the transaction page, all of that really have to be in the local language to gain traction with citizens or consumers and have a complete web experience. I think Sarek also mentioned this. It was already talked about, but essentially the multilingual internet is obviously critical. I don't think anybody in this room or anybody now really debates that. It is certainly a big tool for promoting inclusivity, diversity, and access to information for all of us. It certainly helps us to communicate, learn, and grow faster, right? Sarika also, of course, from an industry perspective, touched upon how the multilingual internet could be beneficial for even businesses, right? So I think even from an opportunity perspective, that's a huge play out there, right? And I think Dr. Data has also mentioned it in most of his presentations in terms of economic opportunity. USG, which is the steering group, the University Acceptance Steering Group, did a research a couple of years back, and at that given time, it was approximately $10 billion of opportunity. And this was, like I said, a couple of years back. So I'm sure that opportunity number certainly has gone even further up. So I think now is the right time for all of us to really get involved. Even if there's some smart businessmen in this room, please do have a look at all of this and get involved. Coming specifically to what the government is doing, right? And of course, we did see an amazing presentation by Amitabh on Bhasini and what it could do. And even a real world example by UIDI actually seeing the translation and Sarek also having a look at it. I think at a very basic level, also government and what Nixie has also done, Mr. Jain is in the room. They've taken several initiatives to promote the multilingual internet right at the word go, right? For example, enabling things like internationalized domain names, right, which are IDNs in our technical parlance, right, which is the ability to essentially have a domain in your own regional language. And again, I'm sure the point has been stressed across in multiple panels, but I'm not sure how many of you really know, but all 22 languages today, you can actually have your own domain. You can actually have your own email in all those 22 languages. So the user can actually go regional at this given moment in time. Of course, there are challenges around acceptance, which we are trying to solve as a community. But we've already taken that step, and the government has been a big help and supporter in terms of pushing that whole objective through. So there's also extensive policy work that's been happening in India. Of course, again, like I said, from a government perspective, that's already been happening. I think we've talked about some of those pieces in some of the panels. Specifically on the tool side, I think development of tools and technologies for Indian languages has also been progressing with several players in the space. And I just wanted to kind of share, a couple of weeks back, I was at an event at a tier 2 city where there were several startups in the NLM space, right? And all of them, were so excited, and they had so many amazing innovative products and applications and solutions to offer that I was really, really surprised. I really didn't expect that. But I think that's the crux of the whole matter, right? And I think that even goes deeper in terms of what the multilingual internet is all about, right? About that kind of inclusivity, right? And I won't really be surprised if, very soon we'll actually see a unicorn coming from that space. So it'll no more be, just pure play tech space unicorns, but you'll actually see application based unicorns coming onto the stage. So I think that's something to look out for. I think even on the private sector side, I think a lot of organizations have taken steps to kind of promote and include the multilingual internet. Google has launched several initiatives to promote Indian languages on the internet. Meta also has done a lot of stuff in terms of supporting Indian languages, right? Such as the ability to post in Hindi, Bengali, and other languages. I'm sure a lot of other efforts are being done, and a lot more can be done. But yeah, I think we're on the right path given what's happening. Globally also, there are lots of initiatives to promote the multilingual internet. For example, the World Wide Web Consortium has developed standards for the use of multilingualism on the web. This includes the use of language tags, which allows web pages to be tagged with the languages that they are written in. The benefit of the multilingual internet, again, I think it's just repetition, but essentially is very, 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 very critical and has several benefits. And I don't think there has to be a debate in terms of whether we need to go multilingual or not. It is just in terms of how do we take the next step forward to become multilingual. And like I said, a lot of effort has already gone there. And of course, in spite of these efforts, there is still a long way to go to achieve a truly multilingual internet. And I'm hopeful with the collaboration between governments, private companies, civil society, these challenges can be addressed. Governments can invest in infrastructure and promote policies that encourage the use of local languages online. Private companies can certainly develop more tools, share technology, and make it easier to create multilingual content. Civil society organizations can advocate for the right of non-English speakers online to ensure that everyone has access to the full benefits of the internet. In conclusion, I would just say that the multilingual internet is essential for creating a more inclusive, equitable, and just world. Let's take a pledge to work together and make this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wali, for emphasizing the aspects about domain name, email IDs, that they also ought to be in Indian languages. So we are now at the end of the session. Various issues have come up, and we have seen what progress has taken place. Clearly, the domains, education, health, agriculture, and economy in general, governance, these are the domains for which language technology in particular, as we go to speech as well as translation, some of these technologies are highly dependent on the quality of their output depending on the domain. So as technology develops and is able to handle different domains, I think we will all move forward, and these technologies will move into each of these areas, and they will be part of our economy. And we have seen, of course, the role of Bhasini. Bhasini, by the way, has helped in translating content, educational courses in higher education on Swayam platform, worth 10,000 hours of equivalent of translation. So, which means about 1,300 hours of lectures and courses, which were translated into 8 Indian languages. So that comes to, if you were to count that, would be about 10,000 hours worth of content. So technology is slowly getting into and making its presence felt, and its impact will be felt by all of us. So I want to thank all of you that we have now, let's all work together to build this ecosystem, whether from the government side or from the commercial companies, startups, academia, and most importantly, the social movements. So as more data becomes available, the technology develops faster and faster in those domains as well. So this ecosystem, when all the things are working together, I think we will see many more things coming up at a much faster pace. So I want to thank everybody. I don't know whether we have time for one question. It's past 4 o'clock. Yeah, so I
No, sir, we are already running
late. All right.
out of time. Thank you very much. And I think it was a wonderful panel discussion where it is very clearly said, number one, there is a possibility. Possibility is a reality where multilingual internet can be delivered, universal acceptance can be implemented. The second message which panel has given is that it is not the job of a single unit, whether it is government or it is industry or it is user group. I think we all have to come together to ensure that this become a reality. And third thing which is important is there is no doubt that India has the potential to lead the world in this direction. I think Bhashini and Multilingual has to work together and it has to get integrated. I just want to inform you that we were celebrating the Digital India celebration in Gandhinagar. I think at that time Mr. Nag was not there with us. I was told by both Rajiv Chandrasekhar sir as well as by secretary that this is the time when Bhashini and multilingual internet has to integrate and go together. And I think the panelist has put a stamp on it. Thank you very much. And now let us clap for the entire panel led by Mr. Rajiv Sangal for such a beautiful presentation. Now, definitely we would like to thank all the panelists also, of course. May I request the Vice Chair of USG, Mr. Please come and do the honor to present the samplings to all the panelists. Yeah, you have to come from this side. You have to come this side. You can give right from the left hand side to Mr. Alok Shukla first. Sir Alok. Thank you very much. Now to Mr. Amitabh Nag, CEO Bhashini. And to Sarika. USG to USG. And to Nitin Wali. And may I request all the panelists to have a group photograph. The most important for any such conference and gathering is the audience. So I want, let us clap for all the audience who were very supportive for the last 2 days and making this 2 days Global UA Day a great success. Now, I request all of us to assemble in Joravar for the final session, that is the valedictory session. Thank you very much, sir.